Good afternoon and Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope I am audible to everyone. Let me know if I'm not in the comment section, please. I am Abira Asad, and on behalf of Karandas Pakistan, I would like to formally welcome you all to today's proposal development workshop. This session has been organized primarily for prospective applicants to give them clarity on what should be included in their proposals and to answer any queries they might have. The agenda for today's presentation is to give you an overview of the challenge round, take you through the guidelines for the proposal writing and presentation, look at the evaluation criteria, visit the key dates, and close the presentation with a question and answer session. I would like to remind everyone, if you have still not submitted your proposals, do so before the 9th of October, which is the last date. And just a reminder, please follow our social media platforms and our website for any updates, as those are the mediums that we use. Okay, before we begin, I would like to shed some light on Karandas. Karandas Pakistan was established in 2014 as a non-profit special purpose vehicle set up under Section 42, with a mission to foster economic growth and create job opportunities through financial inclusion of unbanked and underserved individuals and enterprises in Pakistan. Karandas Pakistan has two sponsors, namely the UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, BMGF. Karandas Pakistan has 4 verticals, namely Karandas Capital, which focuses on wholesale investment equity, Karandas Digital Financial Services, which promotes digital payments, Karandas Knowledge Management and Communication, which focuses on research and knowledge products for internal and external consumption, and Karandas Innovation, which has 2 components, which are Women Venture and Innovation Challenge Fund. The Digital Financing for Agriculture Challenge Round falls under the Digital Financing Services Department, and it is sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So the DFA Challenge Round is inviting innovative digital financial solutions that will develop, pilot, and support the innovative enhancement of access to finance for smallholder farmers in Pakistan. So a little bit of context. Pakistani smallholder farmers face significant financial marginalization and disconnection from the mainstream economy, as they are considered high credit risks due to unavailability of their credit scores and loan histories. Despite agriculture's importance to the economy, only a minimal portion of private sector credit is allocated to this sector. This lack of financial support prevents farmers from accessing loans and credit for essential farming inputs, leading to heavy reliance on informal intermediaries with limited oversight. So the Digital Financing in Agriculture Challenge Round basically aims to address this issue by focusing on smallholder farmers and seeking digital financial solutions to provide this formal credit, reduce high interest rates, eliminate collateral challenges, and simplify procedures, thus reducing dependency on exploitative and non-institutional sources. So we have, 3 main thematic areas, which are, the first is disruptive technology and enablement. This includes basically transforming traditional lending paradigms into streamlined digital lending models. It will involve harnessing technology to enhance the ease and efficiency of the lending process, establishing digital pathways for lending operations, and fostering the creation of platforms that facilitate lending activities. Next, we have credit scoring models, and solutions for this thematic area will develop advanced credit scoring models that leverage alternative data sources in comparison to conventional credit histories and credit scoring mechanisms. and assess the creditworthiness of smallholder farmers accurately, fostering increased access to financing for business development and growth. Lastly, we have pilots for financing models, and these pilots will provide innovative financing models that specifically address the financing needs of the agriculture value chain, such as supply chain and input-based financing, and will unlock growth opportunities and facilitate smoother financial transactions within the agricultural sector. Now, eligible applicants can include financial institutions, agri-tech platforms, fintech innovators, non-banking financial institutions, or any consortium of agri-tech players, banks, or input suppliers working within the identified thematic areas. Okay, so let's now have a look at the process flow and the timeline. Currently, we are in stage 1, which focuses on the solicitation of applications. This will cover the submission of the proposals as well. This is followed by stage 2, which will commence from the 9th of October, which is the submission date, and this will be the close of the application process. At this stage, the proposals which have been already submitted will be evaluated. This will further lead to stage 3, which will comprise of presentations by the shortlisted applicants to the panel of judges, and the grant recipient will then finally be announced in December of this year. And now let's move on to the proposal submission, which guidelines, which will include the following sections. So section 1 covers basic organization and contact information, and section 2 will cover different aspects of the proposal details. So the first section, which includes team details, will please provide detailed information about the management, executive team, and the project team, and also highlight how their collective experience will complement the team's strength for the long-term success of the solution. And include the full names, LinkedIn profiles, emails, phone numbers, etc. in tabular form, please. Next, we have project goals, and this should identify and summarize the overall goals of your proposed solution. Next, we have the target segment, and where you shall identify the specific subsegment of smallholder farmers. For example, if you're targeting smallholder farmers according to region or crop or season, etc. Next, in section 4, we have the thematic areas, which do specify the thematic area your solution is targeting. And if you are targeting a thematic area which is not included in the term sheet, please specify the relevant category and include the details. Next, we have the project rationale. This will include describing the problem, why it's a problem, who specifically it's impacting, and how your proposal tries to address that, and do provide a universe mapping that builds a rationale for addressing the identified challenge, and clearly also state the hypothesis that your solution will be built on. Then we have project design, and this should describe the end-to-end scope and approach of the proposed solution. This should be a narrative description of the principal results the intervention would achieve, and how these results intend to enhance financial services for smallholder farmers. Next, define the primary delivery model of your product, for example, if it's B2C, B2B, etc., and provide URLs to your website, demos, prototype, app, or store if you have any of those. And also provide steps which will need to be taken to implement your proposed solution. Now, this should include an implementation methodology which reflects a systematic flow of activities in the design and implementation of the proposed project. The next section, section 7, will cover monitoring, evaluation, and learning. In this section, please detail out the expected impact of your solution. Provide a summary of the key results. This includes both outputs and outcomes, which are expected from the intervention in relation to the objectives and the problem area. And yeah, and this should further include how many people or the percentage of target segment that the solution plans on registering or uptaking, the total number of active customers on a monthly basis once your solution is launched, and the number of people or the percentage in this target segment which would be using the product after 3 months, after 6 months, and after 12 months, once the funding has ended. Next, we have inclusivity and innovation. Please describe how your solution promotes inclusivity for smallholder farmers, accessibility, affordability, and appropriateness, and how it is innovative in comparison to the market offerings. Next, we have risks and challenges. This category will include any significant risks that can be both internal and external for the implementation of the proposed intervention, and any tactics or strategies that you have devised to mitigate these. Then we have the grant value and utilization. Now, this section should specify the total grant value for the development of your solution. This should list the cost heads and categories, and the estimated values and timelines for your expenditure. And please explain the major cost drivers and relate these to the planned activities and target outcomes. Please note that your administrative costs cannot be higher than 15%. Also, the grant will be based on a milestone-based disbursement schedule, this will be based on mutual discussions with the shortlisted applicant and the Karandas team. And however, up to 15% mobilization advance may be given for the first milestone. Next, we have the revenue model. Over here, please specify the primary revenue model for your product or solution. Elaborate on this revenue model considering your selections, and attach a business case outlining the profitability of your solution. Next, we have the growth strategy. This will please outline your growth strategy and specify any key underlying assumptions. This can include total addressable market, competition, market share, etc. And under the milestone section, please list all the milestones that you plan on achieving and the deliverables with the proposed timeline, and list potential targets to be achieved by the end of this grant period as well, after 3 years and after 5 years. And all your proposal and any such accompanying documents should be sent to the following email address. And it's strongly recommended that applicants use the same headings as mentioned under the proposal details. And all amounts should be in PKR value, please. Also, please do raise hands if you have any questions. Okay, now a bit about the final presentation. Now, the shortlisted applicants will present in front of a panel of judges. This will be a 45-minute PowerPoint presentation, 15 minutes for the presentation itself, which will summarize your proposal, and then 30 minutes of question and answers that the panel will be asking you. And based on this, the final award grantee will be selected. Sorry, just a minute. Okay, so next we have the proposal evaluation criteria. So this is the assessment criteria upon which your proposal will be assessed. And with each metric, we also have the weightage. So your relevant and experience of the applicant will account for 15%. The profile of the project team will account for 10% of the total weightage. The quality of the proposed methodology for model development and refinement will account for 20%. The approach to the testing of the model will account for 15%. The innovation, inclusivity, sustainability of the solution will account for 20%. And the approach to project monitoring, lesson sharing, and risk will account to 20%, and with a total of 100. Okay, now confidentiality. Information relating to the examination, evaluation, comparison, and post-qualification of proposals and recommendation of contract award shall not be disclosed to firms or any other persons which are not officially concerned with the selection process until publication of the contract award. Any questions? Please raise your hands now. You can, I shall unmute you from my end.
Assalamualaikum. So, thematic areas.
Yes, go on.
Can a proposal be targeting all three thematic areas, or you have to specifically select one out of it? Because all three can be overlapping in a certain type of proposal.
My colleague Taimur will answer your question.
Ji, Manan, and the rest of the team, I believe you guys can hear me. Yes, to your question. However, just be careful that the practicality of the pilot has to stay intact. If you are solving for a digital process, if you're solving for a digital credit scoring system, or if you are solving for a pilot in field with the real balance sheet, this demands too big of complexity to address in one pilot. However, it's perfectly fine if you're able to do it with simplicity, with clear objectives. I think that will be given an honest evaluation.
Thank you.
Fahad, you also have a question? Please. Yeah. Ji, Fahad, we can hear you. Hello.
Fahad, you have to unmute yourself and then. There you go.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. So I have a question regarding a collaborative company. We are two companies. One is basic core, fundamentally core agriculture company who is providing services in agriculture sector, and another is a core tech company, a software-based company. So we have collaborated on this idea, and we want to collaboratively submit this idea. So is it possible? So the two companies, one tech company and one agri-based company, collaborate on an idea and submit that proposal?
Yes, that's possible. आप कंसोर्शियम ला सकते हैं, आप जॉइंट पार्टनरशिप दिखा सकते हैं, आप ये दिखा सकते हैं कि हम फ्यूचर में ये पार्टनरशिप करेंगे इस प्रोजेक्ट के एग्जीक्यूशन के लिए. So yes, that's very much possible.
To add,
thank you. And
far to add
yes,
more detail
sure.
to that, one organization has to take the role of a primary organization and submit one proposal, which means one organization becomes the primary and the second becomes the secondary for it.
So would it affect if if a tech company is leading or an core agri company is leading? Would it affect the overall application?
I'm sorry, didn't catch your question. Could you repeat that?
I was asking if a tech company is leading or submitting the proposal on behalf of the core agricultural company, so would it affect the overall, or if an agri-based agricultural company is leading?
Of course not. We realize that one of the companies has to take the lead. So that will definitely not affect the scoring. However, the letter of partnership or the letter of intent from party B has to be made part of the proposal.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Samab, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself.
Yes, Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay. So my question is regarding the funding. How much are you? How much funding you are giving to a single winner? What is the ceiling for that?
So honestly speaking, currently because we're going to evaluate the proposals and it depends on how good the quality of proposals is. आपने हमारे TORs में देखा होगा कि हमने लिखा है कि up to 25 million for 2 entities और अगर हमें लगा कि ज्यादा proposals है तो हम उसको split करेंगे अगर हमें लगा कि एक ही ऐसा proposal है जो stand out करता है so we might increase. आप म्यूट में अगर आप कुछ कह रही हैं. जी रियासत साहब आपका कोई क्वेश्चन है आप अनम्यूट करके पूछ. हेलो रियासत साहब आपका क्वेश्चन है.
तो कह रहे हैं मुझे
मैं कर रही हूँ उनको. आपने खुद करना होगा अपने आप को अनम्यूट.
जी थैंक यू. मेरे दो सवाल हैं. पहला सवाल तो ये है कि क्या बीइंग लाइक एन एफआई फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन जो है वो अगर दो डिफरेंट जॉइंट वेंचर्स के थ्रू आना चाहता है, लाइक फॉर वन सॉल्यूशन इट्स हैज अ डिफरेंट पार्टनर एंड फॉर अनदर सॉल्यूशन इट हैज अ डिफरेंट पार्टनर, सो इज इट फाइन? एंड सेकंड क्वेश्चन इज दैट कैन वी आल्सो take something which is related to research, not only the research. मतलब digital model होना क्या लाजमी है या we can like make a value chain proposition which is a something innovative but there is the digital चीज नहीं है उसमें या कोई डिजिटल सोल्यूशन अभी शायद नहीं है या किसी डिजिटल सोल्यूशन के लिए रिक्वायरमेंट को हम टेस्ट करना चाह रहे हैं, तो क्या ये पॉसिबल है?
सो पहले सवाल का जवाब का ये है कि आप बिल्कुल दो डिफरेंट प्रपोजल सबमिट कराएंगे फिर. सो आप एक प्रपोजल अपना एक पार्टनरशिप के साथ, सो वी विल ट्रीट इट एज टू डिफरेंट एप्लीकेशंस. ठीक है. और जो दूसरा आपका सवाल है कि हम क्या आप उसको रिसर्च प्रपोजल प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं. सो हमने थीम्स आइडेंटिफाई कर दी है. ऑब्वियसली आइडियली वी वांट टू बी एबल टू काइंड ऑफ क्रिएट समथिंग. सो क्रेडिट मॉडल अगर उसकी आपके पास वर्किंग रिसर्च मौजूद है और हम आपको पैसे दे रहे हैं और आप उसको डेवलप कर लें, दैट इज फाइन. वी शुड बी एबल टू टेस्ट इट आउट एट द एंड ऑफ द पायलट. दूसरा तो ऑब्वियसली आपका जो आपके पहले पायलट्स आपने हमारे प्रोग्राम्स देखे हुए हैं, आप पायलट प्रपोज करते हैं हम उसके साथ पार्टनरशिप कर सकते हैं. और जो डिस्ट्रप्टिव इनोवेशन वाली चीज है उसमें भी जैसे बेसिकली वी वांट टू लुक एट प्रोटोटाइप्स. इफ यू डोंट हैव अ प्रोटोटाइप दैट्स रेडी, यू वांट टू डेवलप अ प्रोटोटाइप जिसका बिजनेस केस आपके काम में सस्टेनेबल और बिजनेस केस पॉजिटिव होगा, सो वी विल बी एबल टू फंड दैट. लेकिन हमारी जो थीम है वो यही है कि एक्सेस टू क्रेडिट फॉर स्मॉल होल्डर फार्मर्स. So the digital agricultural finance obviously stays the overarching and the underlying theme. Nabil, you have a question. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Gigi.
Okay, the question is the funding that is going to be made available, which is approximately 25 million. Is this funding for building the platform? Because I believe it won't be for actually doing the financing. So can you elaborate on the utilization possibilities of this funding?
Nabil, good question. So this is for the development of the platform. The grant can be utilized for kind of getting the platform adopted with the farmers, in the farmers. If you want to generate any trial, there could be incentives around that, and those incentives can be capitalized from this grant amount. However, this is not a balance sheet item. What we can do at Max is that, let's say 10% of the grant can be tagged to securitizing your risk capital, which means if certain amount is lost in experimenting the disruption, Karanda's grant can be capitalized to fulfill all those losses, and that could be 10% of the grant.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Muslims are smallholder farmers, not smallholder partners.
Okay. Muzaffar Sharif Bhutta Saab now has a question. If you could speak. Muzaffar Saab, we are identifying you in the list. Give us some time in unmuting you. Ji, could you unmute you, Muzaffar Saab?
Ji, assalamu alaikum ji. Yes. So yeah, ji, ji, I was just one question. Is there any restriction with regard to engagement of an international partner? I mean, can we engage some international expertise as well as a consortium or as a joint venture?
Of course you can. The target audience needs to be obviously Pakistani smallholder farmers, but you can definitely pull in an international partner, a tech partner, whoever you want that partnership. You should just have clarity, and the proposal should also clearly state that ये हमारा arrangement है इनके साथ और हम उनका solution for example करेंगे within Pakistan. और बाकी तो जाहिर है जितने भी लोग यहाँ पे बैठे हुए हैं और नो की इंडस्ट्री की जो रेगुलेटरी रिक्वायरमेंट्स होती है आपने वो देखनी है कि कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं हो मतलब जो रेगुलेटर अलाउ नहीं करता. Otherwise we do not have a problem with international partnerships.
Excellent. Thanks.
Are there any more questions?
Mohsin has asked a question on the chat. I've tried answering that. If there is more to it, I mean, I'm open to take further questions on it.
So smallholder farmer is having a land ownership of less than 12 acres. What I gathered from the previous answer regarding the non-balance sheet development administration, 5% and 10% can be made. बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है अब्दुल्ला यही कह रहे हैं एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में जो अब पहले अबीरा ने जिसे एक्सप्लेन किया था उन्होंने कहा था कि आप 15% से ज्यादा एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कॉस्ट नहीं दे सकते वो एसेंशियली ये है कि अगर ऑफिस का रेंट है या इस तरह के कोई एक्सपेंसेस होते हैं वो हम इतने ज्यादा नहीं वो करते लेकिन टेक डेवलपमेंट उसकी अपटेक उसकी अडॉप्शन उसकी मार्केटिंग उसके लिए अगर कोई सॉफ्टवेयर की रिक्वायरमेंट है वो सारी चीजें कवर हो जाती है इसके अंदर. We will be able to share this recording.
Yes, this recording will be uploaded on YouTube by tomorrow.
So Abdullah had a question in the chat history. The last bullet point which states that 10% used to lend out to test the product, 10% can be securitized against your balance sheet. So assume that there is no balance sheet that we are extending under this project. You have to chip in your own money as a balance sheet item. And if there is a certain loss, 10% of the grant can be used in order to, kind of fulfill for that loss.
Yes, Fahad, it is important and necessary, mandatory to include the finance element. क्योंकि हमारा जो थीम है और जो चैलेंज है वो है कि essentially agri financing के ऊपर है. So we do not, while we understand that there is a lot that needs to be done in agri-tech also, but this specific challenge focuses on access to finance, traditional finance for smallholder farmers. So for example, इसमें शायद हम आपको advisory के लिए पैसा नहीं दे सकते standalone as an agri-tech solution. No, it's not a matching grant. It's a grant. If your proposal has a scope, जो कि basically that merits for PKR 25 million, so we will be giving that grant. We do not expect कि आपकी matching grant की कोई percentage होगी. हमने limit नहीं रखी. Are there any more questions? Any comments? आप जी बासित, सो आप बेसिकली वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट बना लें, जो हमने आपको वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट जो हमने वेबसाइट पे पब्लिश किया है, आप उसको देख लें, उन्हीं की हेडिंग्स के अंदर आप अपना कंटेंट फिल करना शुरू कर दें. If there's anybody who needs help during filling out that form, you can always reach out to us. Just write an email. Abira or myself will get in touch with you and will help you how to draft it further. So आपने basically submit कराना है in PDF और Word file जो भी आपको पता है, लेकिन ये इंश्योर कर लीजिएगा कि आपका जो फ्लो ऑफ द डॉक्यूमेंट है वो खराब ना हो, बिकॉज दैट विल मेक इट इजियर फॉर द इवैल्यूएशन कमेटी टू एक्चुअली इवैल्यूएट एंड गो थ्रू द प्रोजेक्ट प्रपोजल्स. So while we wait for other questions, I think I'm just going to summarize the conversation. The DFA is basically for anybody and everybody who wants to solve for the access of credit for farmers. That is our core objective. हमने 3 identify कर दिए हैं thematic areas जो हमें लगता है कि potentially industry में इस पे काम हो सकता है, होना चाहिए. अगर आपका proposal उन thematic areas से किसी भी तरीके से relate करता है या उन categories में fall करता है, please आप application form को fill out करें. Regardless of how big the scope is or how small the scope is, just send in the proposal and we will evaluate at our end. जो 4 चीजें हमें चाहिए होती है वो ये चाहिए होती है कि जो आपका solution है वो क्या problem solve कर रहा है. So start your thinking from identifying the problem statement, then figure out a solution that will solve that challenge. Once you have the solution, you tell us what is required to implement that solution. Identify cost heads, identify the activities that need to be undertaken in order to develop that pilot or that solution. उसके ऊपर अपनी PKR वैल्यू लगाए कि ये एक्टिविटीज है, इनके अगेंस्ट ये कॉस्ट हेड होगा और ये हमारी रिक्वेस्टेड अमाउंट है. देन यू हैव टू टेल अस कि आपका सॉल्यूशन कितने लोगों को इम्पैक्ट करेगा, किस तरह से इम्पैक्ट करेगा, कौन से एरिया ऑफ द वैल्यू चेन को इम्पैक्ट करेगा. And I think that should be enough for the proposal. Rest of the details are available in the template and you can always fill them out.
Also, we have a list of FAQs on our site, so please visit those as well for further queries, or you can email us on dfa@garndas.com.uk. The last day for taking in questions is the 5th of October, which is Friday, before the submission of the proposal, which is on Monday, 9th October.
Yeah, and the recording will be available on LinkedIn tomorrow.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to end this meeting now. Thank you everyone for joining us here today, and please do reach out with any further questions, etc. And Allah Hafiz.